We're back. Well, here's another example, as I mentioned, of Mitt Romney trying to have it both ways. Romney was in New York City yesterday for a scheduled meeting with Donald Trump. But he had a member of his communications team deceive the press for over an hour, assuring those reporters that Romney was on his way to that meeting. Well, the whole time the former governor was upstairs meeting with Trump, and then he slipped out his side door, avoiding the media altogether. So no evidence they actually met on camera. So Romney was willing to meet with Trump, but he was afraid to have his picture taken with him. What does that tell you? Christine Ballantoni is an associate politics editor at Roll Call, the newspaper that covers Capitol Hill. And Maggie Haberman writes for Politico. Maggie, let me start with you. What is this? I mean, I'm thinking Donald Trump's watching the show tonight saying, wait a minute, this scalawag. He comes in to meet with me, wastes my time, and my time is very valuable. Hangs out with me, skips to Malou. No evidence he ever met with me. What's he trying to do? Is he two-faced or what?
I think that this was not a banner moment for Mitt Romney. You know, Donald Trump got a pizza date out of Sarah Palin, and he got a Jean-Georges date, a nice steak, out of Rick Perry. He gets nothing out of this except for Mitt Romney sneaking out from a side door and the press being angry. It does not exactly scream wanting to be around Donald Trump. I think the main reason Mitt Romney did this was so that Donald Trump didn't go on, TV and essentially say negative things about him. But the best ringing endorsement he got was, we got along better than I thought we would.
So he treats him like Kubla Khan in the room, but like Typhoid Mary out in the streets. Here is Trump giving his assessment of that meeting. We'll get to you with Romney in an interview last night with Greta Van Susteren. It wasn't exactly a ringing endorsement, by the way. Let's listen.
I will tell you, I met with Rick Perry. I really liked him a lot. I thought he was a terrific guy. Today I met with Mitt Romney. Absolutely very impressive. I mean, we had some good, and they're very different people. It's very interesting, and I don't want to get into it, but they are very, very different people. But I was very impressed today with Mitt Romney.
Christina, what do you make of him doing the Betty and Veronica number? He's like Archie Andrews from the comics. I'm not sure who I like today, Betty or Veronica here. But I like Mitt. They're both interesting, I don't know.
Don't forget how much he likes Sarah Palin, too. I mean, this says as much about Donald Trump as it does about Mitt Romney. If he had wanted to be photographed with Mitt Romney, he probably could have made that happen. And this is probably not a candidate he's going to endorse. Romney is somebody that he's said some negative things about in the past. This was a little bit of mitigation here. But as far as not being photographed with somebody, I mean, that happens all the time. Rick Perry has been up doing fundraisers. He doesn't get photographed with everybody he does fundraisers with. Barack Obama was at a fundraiser with Lady Gaga this week, and there's no pictures of the two of them together.
Excuse me.
I think that
excuse
really
me, Christina. You go to meet Donald Trump in New York. You have all the hoopla about it. You say you're going up to meet with him. You have your flack outside, play dodgeball with the press. You tell him that he hasn't arrived yet. He's been up there meeting with him for the whole hour. You're in perfect communication. You never let him come out the front door with the press standing there. You know exactly where the press are. You take a side door. That's not casual. That's purposeful avoidance of a picture.
Sure.
I want to go back to you. Why doesn't he want his picture taken with? Why doesn't he want his picture taken with the Trumpster?
Well, it's all political carnival, right? You choose where you want those pictures. He certainly wants to have his picture taken when he's at the, whether he goes to the Iowa State Fair or if he's doing these, small events in New Hampshire. So he's trying to carefully take his image there and present that to the public. It's all choices, and every picture that you take as a campaign is something that you want to have control over. He didn't want a picture of Trump. I think you're right, because he knows that Trump is probably not going to endorse him. What's the point of having those images out there?
I think there's another
Maggie,
issue.
Go with what's the other issue?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think he doesn't want a picture with Trump because Trump is the person who, for better or worse, was really, capturing into this message in the Republican field and among voters of, taking the fight to Obama. And that's just not an excitement. And that's just not what Mitt Romney is doing. There's no way this is going to be seen as some kind of a favorable, especially when you compare it to Rick Perry. So I think that's a lot of why they didn't want it.
Well, the other thing is that Trump was the big birther of the country. He put all his money down on that one chip and saying, look, this guy doesn't have a legal birth certificate. He was found to be wrong. Christina, that doesn't exactly give you credibility.
Well, and why meet with him at all? I mean, this says a lot that Mitt Romney is obviously taking this person seriously enough to have a private meeting with him. I mean, given all of those things, he wants to be able to have sort of say that he's reaching out to this person who still does well in presidential polls, by the way, and who has still said that you never know he could get in himself. So he's definitely trying to appeal to that side of the Republican Party.
I don't know. This guy, the kingmaker, doesn't look like a kingmaker tonight. We'll see. He might have a lot of influence. Christina Ballantoni, thank you. And Maggie Haberman, they obviously think his ring is worth kissing.